Be cautious along with your brother due to the fact your brother is planning to. My expensive infant, in case you trust in angels, begin this video and watch it absolutely. Angel says be careful together with your brother due to the fact your brother is planning to take your birthright, your peace, your call, your future, and your blessing. You could now not see it really, but, however, heaven sees the whole thing. God is now speaking without delay to you due to the fact your spirit has been too quiet about what your heart already suspects. This isn't always a coincidence. That is a divine moment, and this message is arriving in front of you no longer because you searched for it, however, because heaven couldn't hold back any longer. You needed to recognize. You needed to see. You needed to hear what has been hidden from you for some distance too lengthy. You've always carried a deep love for circle of relatives. You have been the one who gives. The one who trusts even after betrayal. The only who opens the door even if it hurts. And your brother knew that. He knew how lots you would provide. How a good deal you would forgive. However, there's something massive happening behind the scenes. A plan is being written together with your call on it, but no longer to your blessing, for your downfall. Your brother, the only who should defend your honor, is writing a story inside the shadows. And that story is designed to erase you. This isn't easy to mention. You may already be combating confusion, and also you may think, no, my brother would in no way do this. But heaven sees past smiles and friendly phrases. Heaven sees aim. And your brother has been making movements, religious, emotional, economic, and his coronary heart has emerged as bloodless in the direction of you. He envies something you do not even comprehend you have. It is not simply your things. It is your calling. Your peace. Your get admission to. Your mild. He observed whilst humans respected you. He observed whilst heaven commenced to shift matters on your favor. He observed whilst you failed to collapse even though you had each cause to. And what should have made him proud, made him sour. You think it's simply tension. You suspect it's only a hard season. However, Archangel Michael is stepping ahead now, sounding the horn and declaring, be cautious. Because your brother is making actions to take something he by no means labored for. Something that belongs simplest to you. There are files being checked out. There are humans he is speaking to about you at the back of your lower back. There may be a communication you have been by no means supposed to listen, however heaven did. And now God is sending this phrase because the plot is thickening and the time is shortening. You needed to be conscious. You needed to open your eyes. And this isn't just about one act. That is about the pattern. The coldness. The manipulation. The manner he twists tales in the front of others. The manner he provides himself as the victim while you were the only who got hurt. The manner he speaks calmly when absolutely everyone is watching, but speaks venom when you're by myself. You understand what it feels like. That shift in electricity. That subtle mocking. That undercurrent of contempt he incorporates for you, disguised as jokes or complaint. It is not simply in your head. It is real. And it is spiritual. Your brother has been beginning doors. He has no idea how to near. He has been talking phrases in anger which are drawing spiritual forces towards your life. And that's why these days your ecosystem has felt heavy. It is why certain stuff you have been positive about now experience complicated. That's why your goals had been uneasy. He is tampering with energies he does now not recognize, however heaven does. And heaven is intervening now before it is going too a long way. You've got this atypical unrest currently. That feel that something is off. And you've tried to silence it. You've tried to be logical. You have advised yourself, he's family. He wouldn't harm me. Perhaps I am overthinking. However, now God is stepping in saying, you aren't imagining this. This is not paranoia. That is revelation. I'm revealing your brother's motives not to make you hate him, but to defend you. Due to the fact I've seen the conferences. I have heard the cell phone calls. I have watched the intentions form in his heart. He wants to take something this is yours. And if you do not get this warning in time, he'll be successful. However, God will no longer permit your inheritance to be passed over to a person who contains jealousy. You've sacrificed an excessive amount of. You have prayed too long. You've walked through an excessive amount of pain to hand over your divine portion now. And the truth is, he by no means celebrated your survival. He pretended. However, inside the secret places of his coronary heart, your electricity stricken him. Because it reminded him of what he does not carry. He includes expertise, but no field. He consists of charm, however no fact. You deliver hearth. You carry desire. You convey divine resilience. And that's why the enemy whispered in his ear, take what is theirs. They will in no way see it coming. But you are seeing it now. The veil is being lifted. And sooner or later, God is exposing this girl too. The lady at the back of your brother's actions. Yes, there is a woman involved. A female who fed his ego. Who whispered towards you. Who informed him you have been inside the way. Who promised him attention, control, and energy if he just eliminated you from the image. She is dangerous. She looks candy. However, her intentions are poisoned. She sees your light and needs it erased. She sees you have an effect on and wishes it stolen. And your brother has emerged as her puppet. He listens to her more than he listens to his very own spirit. She has twisted him with flattery and fake loyalty. She acts like she helps earn family, but secretly plots to dismantle it. And he or she has made your brother agree with that if he can just separate himself from you, he'll upward thrust. What he does not recognize is she's only using him to get close to your blessing. But heaven sees. And, enough. You had been never meant to suffer in silence. You had been by no means intended to stay pressured at the same time as human beings planned your downfall. So now the caution has come. And the choice is yours. You may pretend not to look. Or you can permit this phrase to sharpen your discernment. due to the fact what's coming subsequent requires full attention. God is bringing you into elevation, and He's going to now not permit any hidden enemy to ride on your lower back whilst you climb. Even supposing they percentage your blood. This is a sacred second. Now not just a message. A second in divine time wherein God intervenes before the entice is fully set. You still have time to behave. To attract obstacles. To defend your call. To cut off the emotional strings that kept you certain. Because this is religious struggle, and the assault isn't simply non-public, it's generational. Your circle of relatives line contains oil. And also you were born to break the curse. That's why the attack got here via someone near. Due to the fact the enemy knows, strangers cannot wound you, want family can. But what the enemy forgot is, God has angels stationed around your name. And Archangel Michael is one in all them. Michael has unsheathed his sword on your behalf. Because your destiny cannot be not on time to any extent further. The promises have to appear. The healing need to come. The tables need to turn. And sure, the truth need to be found out. This is exposure. Holy publicity. The kind that shocks you. The kind that makes you weep. The sort that rearranges your relationships forever. However, it's important. Due to the fact, in case you don't know who's clearly for you, you'll take the enemy into your blessing. And God will no longer permit that. Your brother's plan will fail. The woman's lies will crumble. And you'll upward thrust. But most effective if you select to see. Most effective in case you do not cross again to sleep. Best in case you stop explaining away the signs and symptoms. Because heaven has confirmed it time and again. You felt it. You knew something was wrong. That is your confirmation. That is your moment. And God is saying, watch rapid. Due to the fact the masks is set to fall. The betrayal is ready to surface. And the divine protection over your life is about to shock even your enemies. You may rise from this. More potent. Wiser. Sharper. Included in divine oil. With every piece of your blessing intact. Because God isn't always only a healer. He is a repair. And He is restoring the whole lot. Your clarity. Your barriers. Your peace. Your voice. Your safety. Your territory. And your honor. Could you like a 2D component continuing this message to construct on the confrontation, divine recuperation, and what your next 24 hours will spiritually all started now the 3 hours have passed. The heavens held their breath, watching you in those very last moments. Each angel assigned on your call stood nonetheless, ready to see if you will hear the warning. And now the hour has modified. The trap that became once hidden has all started to take shape. But the appropriate information is this, because you received the message, because your heart trembled and your soul listened, God just done a spiritual reversal in your favor. The trap has turned. The scheme has collapsed. The one who tried to ruin you is now being watched with the aid of the very eyes of heaven. And the lady whose plan once threatened your calling is now being stripped of each hidden weapon she saved within the darkish. The entice did not simply fail, it have become an affidavit. However, don't get comfortable. This isn't always the time to sleep. What has been reversed within the spirit continues to be revealing itself within the bodily. You have to live alert now. What turned into concealed is being exposed. You'll start to word ordinary conduct. Extraordinary silences. Abrupt modifications in mindset. Human beings performing bloodless, then overly pleasant. Conversations suddenly feeling off. All of it's far part of the spiritual fallout. The moment God blocked the entice, the masks of your enemies commenced to crack. And what become as soon as clean and calculated is now unraveling speedy. Do not try to restoration it. Do not express regret for what you figure. Don't step back into their confusion. This is what publicity seems like. And it is handiest starting. Sooner or later, God is exposing this lady, now not just in your spirit, but earlier than the very eyes of others. People who once believed her lies will begin to question her. Those she manipulated towards you may come forward with remorse. A few may additionally even confess things you in no way requested approximately. That's not coincidence. It truly is divine war of words. But the Lord says be careful. No longer everybody who comes ahead now could be secure. Some are only returning due to the fact they realized the shoes failed to fall along with her. It remained on you. They left you when they believed her phantasm. Now they are crawling lower back because truth is echoing louder than attraction. Be gracious, however be clever. Forgive, however don't forget. Let pass, however do no longer hand them the keys once more. You are in a cleaning season, and God says, I am now not allowing counterfeits to comply with you into your coronation. Yes, coronation. You idea you had been simply surviving an attack. But heaven was preparing to crown you in public. This is why the conflict was so vicious. That's why her assault felt so personal. As it wasn't just about betrayal, it became approximately distraction. She failed to need to kill your frame. She wanted to empty your consciousness, cloud your discernment, postpone your elevation. But her failure is now your proof. The crown is still yours. The scroll continues to be active. The divine appointment for your lifestyles cannot be postponed any longer. You surpassed the test. You failed to retaliate. You didn't curse her lower back. You did not decrease yourself into her games. You sought the reality in place of vengeance. You stored your spirit open when you had every right to close off. And for that, you are now coming into a praise few are mature enough to obtain. Divine repayment. Every moment you cried questioning why human beings modified on you. Heaven changed into storing those tears. Every false word stated against you. God was marking it down. And now the time of reckoning has arrived. That is what divine justice looks like. Quiet reversals, silent rewards, and heavenly promotions that no guy can stop. However, you have to be geared up. geared up to stroll through doorways without explaining yourself. Geared up to lose more folks who have been secretly tied to her. Geared up to feel lonely, whilst you step into strength. Due to the fact elevation calls for separation. You aren't being punished once they stroll away. You're being covered from what they bring. A number of them have been only unswerving to her, no longer to you. A number of them handiest stood with you once, the idea she authorized. But now that she's being uncovered, they may waft too. Let them. Don't chase. Don't beg. Don't ask for closure. Let heaven smooth what it started out. Let the purge end. Your process is not to manipulate their emotions. Your process is to shield your very own. And something sacred now, you're about to be publicly honored for what you privately continued. They saw you smile. They never noticed the nights you almost broke. They heard your snicker. They never heard the screams in prayer. They watched your energy. They never watched the battles interior your mind. But heaven noticed all of it. And heaven never forgot. And the day she commenced weaving that lure become the identical day God began getting ready your release. You by no means walked blindly. Heaven had your eyes the complete time. That lady believed you had been unprotected, unguarded, unprepared. However, she never saw the religious shields that surrounded your name. She underestimated the prefer for your lifestyles. But no longer anymore. Now she will witness what it looks as if whilst God promotes the one she tried to bury. When he elevates the only she discredited. When he blesses the only she said wasn't worth. The tale is turning. The narrative is flipping. And you are no longer the one who is misunderstood, misjudged, mishandled. You're the only who survived the sabotage. You're the one who was chosen. You're the one God has decided to use as an instance. And that's why the entirety goes to alternate hastily now. Doors that were shut will fly open. Folks who unnoticed you may abruptly need you. Systems that confounded you may suddenly honor you. Cash that changed into held returned will now be released. And readability, crystal clear divine readability, will saturate every decision you make. That is what happens after the trap fails. Now not handiest are you loose, but you're multiplied. The put-off became continually demonic. It's why she become dispatched. Not to harm you, however, to sluggish you down. To keep you wondering, doubting, overthinking. But now that she's exposed, your velocity will return. Watch what occurs in the next 7 days. Goals will accentuate. Signs and symptoms will multiply. Matters will start clicking fast. Conversations will align with what you've been hearing in prayer. It's all confirmation. It's all proof. It is all part of God's promise that you would not just continue to exist the entice, however you would upward thrust from it. And she, this female who plotted in secret, might be silenced. Not via your anger, however, with the aid of your glow. Your rise may be your solution. Your pleasure might be your reaction. Your peace will hold forth louder than your ache ever may want to. This is your second. The entice failed. The clock has shifted. And your call is being written into new scrolls of glory. You need to pay attention cautiously now. You must open your heart because this isn't just a message. It smiles a divine alert. Something is transferring below the surface of your existence. Something you cannot absolutely see yet, but heaven sees all. I, the Lord your God, do no longer sleep, and that I do now not overlook what you have ignored. This message isn't always right here by using twist of fate. It is timed. It's far pressing. And it's miles soaked in my mercy and protection. You have walked via an excessive amount of to be caught off protect now. That is why I talk, it appears that evidently nowadays. Be careful with your brother. I recognize the one's phrases are heavy. I recognize they pierce deeply due to the fact you love him. You never imagined you would hear these words from me. But I do not speak to hurt you. I talk to guard you. I talk because I like you extra than you'll ever apprehend. I communicate due to the fact I've watched the entirety that has happened backstage of appearances. What you notion turned into innocent has been shifting into something dangerous. And I want you to awaken, no longer in fear, however in wisdom. Your brother isn't always the same as he was. Somewhere along the way, he started out wonderful darkness. Someplace along the way, he started out letting jealousy into his heart. You did not see it. You had been too trusting. You had been too loyal. You blanketed for him, even if he didn't deserve it. You defended him, even when he became planning things behind your back. You in no way stopped believing in him. But the truth is, he has been slowly turning his heart far away from the light, and now he is making plans, no longer just random mind, however real steps, plans that could affect your future. Plans that involve what belongs to you. Be careful, my infant, because your brother is making plans to take your blessing. He has been watching what I've placed to your life. He sees your choose. He sees how I'm elevating you up. He feels the shift going on in your environment. He senses your anointing, even supposing he doesn't speak approximately it. And instead of rejoicing for you, rather than covering you, he has allowed a bitter root to develop in him. He has let opposition creep in which there should be team spirit. And now, what you think is love, he's the use of as a strategy. He is studying your moves, pretending to assist you, but internally calculating a way to step beforehand of you. Do not misunderstand me. I am now not telling you to hate him. I'm telling you to be aware. I am telling you to open your eyes. I am telling you that love without discernment is a trap. You can't retain to show your secrets and techniques, your plans, your next steps to a person who has mixed intentions. He might also nevertheless smile. He may additionally nonetheless snigger. He can also still say the proper things. However, I see the heart. And his coronary heart isn't always easy towards you right now. He has spoken your name in places he never should have. He's said things to people that dishonor your calling. He has attempted to shift favor toward himself. He is acted just like the victim in Testimonies, wherein he changed into the only plotting. You've got sensed it earlier than however dismissed it due to the fact you couldn't consider a person you adore being capable of this. However, now I confirm what your spirit already is aware of. You have to protect your blessing. You should protect the mantle I've placed in your life. You must not let loyalty turn out to be your downfall. Your brother is planning to take your inheritance. Not simply physical matters, no longer just money or possessions, however your religious element. The space I've carved out for you. The influence I am approximately to give you. The voice I've raised up within you. He is aware of it's yours. He can sense heaven shifting to your prefer. However, instead of honoring you, he's trying to slide into what I created simplest for you. That's why you've been facing abnormal resistance. It really is why your peace has felt shaken. That's why your dreams have been atypical lately. Heaven has been attempting to speak, and now it is being made plain. He isn't always for you the manner you're for him. However, I'm no longer just revealing this to frighten you. I'm revealing this so that you can act. So you can draw boundaries. So that you can pray with perception. So you can defend what's sacred. I'm able to never permit your destiny be stolen with the aid of someone else, but I want your cooperation. I want you to stop ignoring the crimson flags. I want you to stop silencing your discernment in the name of family. Even Judas sat at the table. Even Cain came from the same womb as Abel. You have to be spiritually alert now. I, the Lord your God, am sending angels to face guard around you. I'm assigning Archangel Michael himself to interfere in which you cannot. You do not need to combat within the flesh. You do not need to expose him. You don't need to stir war. However, you do need to be smart. Do not speak your subsequent move out loud except I let you know to. Do no longer hand him the map for your promise. A few doors will open for you soon, and you have to stroll through them by myself. That does not imply you do not love him. It method you honor what I am doing in you. Your brother is making plans to take your vicinity. He's no longer content together with his portion. He is now not on foot in his project. And when someone refuses to just accept their personal blessing, they emerge as a hazard to yours. He is trying to walk in footwear that weren't made for him. He wishes the respect without the sacrifice. He wishes the popularity without the system. However, you paid a fee for what I've given you. You cried for it. You waited for it. You fought spiritual battles for it. And now that the harvest is close to, I will no longer allow it to be stolen. I'm reminding you who you're. You aren't vulnerable. You aren't silly. You aren't blind. You're anointed. You are appointed. You're included. No weapon shaped towards you shall prosper. Not even when the weapon comes in acquainted apparel. No longer even if it comes out of your very own bloodline. You're mine. And I'm able to fight for you. Each scheme, every plan, each whisper will fall to the ground. I will turn it around to your favor. What he concept might damage you, I can use to raise you. What he attempted to take, I'm able to multiply. What he spoke in mystery might be silenced in public. I am your defender. I'm your covering. I'm the one who goes before you. Nothing escapes my eyes. And I am speaking now so you can upward push with clarity. This is a while. You are approximately to step into a new degree. A level that requires separation. A level that calls for silence. A degree that calls for obedience. Even now, I'm running behind the scenes. There are people your brother has spoken to about you, however I'm final their ears. I'm erasing the damage. I am restoring your call. I'm casting off his effect in which it threatens your destiny. He will now not be able to prevent what I've ordained. He will not be capable of postpone your destiny. His plan will backfire. The very thing he tried to control becomes the supply of your testimony. You are safe in me. Not anything will go incorrect with you. You're blanketed. You're hidden under the shadow of my wings. I've dispatched angels around your home, around your plans, around your thoughts, around your peace. The enemy will not spoil through. And your brother, even though I like him too, will face the effect of his heart unless he repents. You need to pray for him, but do now not consider him blindly. That season has exceeded. Now is the time to be nonetheless and realize that I am God. I can display you what to do. I can guide your conversations. I'm able to help you reply with knowledge and not emotion. You'll stroll in dignity, not drama. You'll walk in motive, no longer panic. You will shine so brightly that even his darkness could be exposed without a phrase. My justice is best. My timing is precise. And I have waited till this very moment to tell you due to the fact now you're strong sufficient to pay attention it. Now your eyes are open sufficient to peer it. Now your spirit is mature enough to reply rightly. This is not the stop of your dating, however it is the give up of your silence. You may not pretend. You may now not forget about. You will now not tolerate what grieves my spirit. I'm calling you to rise, to stand in fact, to stroll in boldness, to defend what is sacred. Your calling is too incredible. Your motive is too powerful. Your light is too crucial. You cannot have the funds for to be distracted now. I may be with you continually. I can provide you with power when you sense vulnerable. I will provide you with courage when fear tries to return. I can surround you with divine help. You're about to satisfy people who carry natural hearts. I'm changing the pain of betrayal with the blessing of divine community. I'm getting rid of false loyalty and giving you folks that bring truth. You aren't dropping, you are being freed. You aren't by myself, you're being accelerated. You will appear and slower back and thank me. Despite the fact that this reality is tough, you'll see that it stored you. It preserved you. It redirected you. It restored your peace. And shortly, you will walk with your head excessive, now not in conceitedness, but in guarantee. Understanding that I, The Lord your God spoke to you, warned you, blanketed you, and loved you enough to tell you what no one else could. Consider me now. Pray. Live close to me. I will lead you step by step. Not anything will go wrong with you. You are secure. You're mine. And your destiny is guarded with the aid of the throne of heaven.